What's going on, everybody? Happy freaking Friday, and welcome in to another edition of the Fantasy Alarm MLB DFS live stream. I am your host today, James Grande, joined by Keith Eister. Keith, what's going on, brother? Happy, or you know what? I'll take the happy back. TGIF. We'll shorten it up a little bit.
TGIF, my man. Call for John having some tech issues, so we're a little bit late here today, but we got it rolling now.
Nevertheless, tech issues, no tech issues, doesn't matter. We are here. 12 games on the docket for the Friday baseball slate. A lot of elite pitching, a lot of elite bats. We'll start off just quick rundown of the weather. Nothing concerning enough to me. There's some delay spots, but doesn't look like there's going to be anything. If anything, it's just going to be warm everywhere, and that's the takeaway for me tonight. Baltimore, like 90 degrees and winds kind of blowing out in that one. Not that those pitchers need that. Really warm in Atlanta as well. There is some rain that could interrupt the game, but nothing of concern right now. Anything else that I'm missing in terms of weather, Keith? Are you ready to dive into things?
I think that covers it for the weather. Through making sure you didn't miss anything. Yeah, Atlanta's. It looks like it's going to be okay.
Yeah, 80 degrees in Yankee Stadium as well. And first comment of the day, JC, who let the Yankees bats out? I'm five stacking, fellas, and we will talk about the Yankees bat as we go through the show. Thank you all for tuning in. TJF to all of you out there as well, including Poe Degen Stoner, who is always high and is always watching our streams. And he is ready to rip some bongs, blunts, and give out his picks. So Poe Degen, don't be afraid to drop them picks in the chat. We know you love to. It's storming in Texas, Donnie. Let's see. I don't think there's anything of concern in Texas right now.
Texas is a big state.
There's a big state, and Texas also plays in a dome, so we don't have to necessarily worry about the Rangers necessarily. They're in a dome, so hopefully you're okay, Donnie, and I think the Rangers will be in a dome. Keep Vape in the chat, yo, Poe Degen, weather doesn't look like an issue, and Anthony, hey, question, we'll get to your question. Oh no, we'll get to your question very early because we're gonna dive in position by position. If this is your first time, guys, tuning in, we go position by position. Hit the like button, subscribe to the YouTube, all that good stuff. We appreciate your support. We're going to hop in here. We'll start here because we're going to go pitcher first. And I want to we'll get this out of the way. Don't play Dean Kramer.
That's a fair assumption. Yeah, I mean, he's really cheap, both sides. He's also been really bad this season.
Awful.
And the pitching slate is absolutely loaded. Like, there are some guys that are going to put up massive scores today. I know the weather's warming up. The offense looks good as well. But there's way too good of pitching to be messing around with Dean Kramer on this slate.
Agreed. And again, 90 degrees slated in Baltimore first pitch tonight. Winds blowing out. Not good for pitching in that game. Let's go back to the top of pitching where there are some elite names, and Anthony kind of alluded to a couple. Tarek Skubal, Yoshinobu Yamamoto, Max Fried, clearly the three best pitchers on the slate. How would you rank those three, Keith? As an MME player, but we'll shrink it down into like single entry cash game type vibes. What's your take on the top three?
Yeah, so Fried is slightly behind the top two just because the strikeouts. I know he spiked a couple of big strikeout games this season, but he is pretty far behind in terms of strikeout rate when looking at Skubal and Yamamoto. So he's immediately third for me. He can still get there in other ways, but the ballpark is a factor there as well. So then it's between Skubal and Yamamoto. The matchup is slightly better for Skubal. Yamamoto has been absolutely incredible, but it's going to be a slight lean for me for Skubal. I think it's close, and that's certainly debatable. It's hard to argue with anything that Yamamoto has done. Atlanta's bats have been heating up a little bit. Weather is really good there in Atlanta as well. So it's a slight lean to Skubal, but it's not a strong one. I will have plenty of both of these guys.
Yeah. it's a good hitting environment in LA too for home
Yep.
runs. That's a really good park for home runs. We saw last
Yep.
night a lot of them. So when it's good weather out in LA, ball carrying, but I trust Tarek Skubal more than I trust like anybody on a date on like a slate to slate basis.
Yeah, I mean, AL Cy Young winner last year, probably the best pitcher in baseball if we're
Yep,
ranking like
yep.
he's the dude. I mean, Skeens is right there too, but Skubal is the dude.
Recency bias be damned.
Yeah.
Paul Skeens
My
stinks.
Cubbies got the Skeens yesterday. It was nice
Yeah.
to see.
Shout out Dansby Swanson. I agree. Skubal, Yamamoto, freak for me. How they're priced. When we go down to the mid tier, there is a incredibly interesting, kind of discussion here. We do this about twice a month with Robbie Ray, right? Like twice a month, we get a really chalky version of Robbie Ray anytime he gets a bad matchup because he has serious strikeout appeal. He also, sometimes it doesn't matter. He can't throw strikes and it doesn't matter what the matchup is. What's your take on Robbie Ray? He is one of two pitchers on DraftKings currently receiving over 30% rostership.
Yeah, high risk with this guy because he can literally go out and walk 6 or 7 guys in a start, and he's done that many times throughout his career. Anytime he's catching ownership, it is always a spot that I look to kind of get away from. He has tremendous upside. I love to play him when he's low owned. I love to play him in harder matchups when the field is not on him because he can go out there and strike out 8 against a much better team than he's facing today. The Rockies have been historically bad away from Coors Field. This is a terrible, terrible offense. So that does mitigate the risk a little bit. There's no way I'm trying to get over the field on Robbie Ray when you factor in the walk rate. He's getting up there in age as well. So the strikeouts were down to start the season. They've been coming back. They've looked really good the last couple of starts. So I think he's going to strike guys out today. It's hopefully he walks a couple of guys, maybe gives up a home run or two, and just doesn't quite put up a score that I need. There's plenty of other options we can pivot to. So I will be underweight Robbie Ray.
Well, will you be overweight on Framber in the same price range, or do you feel the same way? Because he is also catching a lot of ownership.
Yeah, another guy that I just don't play a ton of. Another guy that has an awesome matchup today, and that's why the ownership is going
Yep.
here. But very similar to Max Fried in that he wins with ground balls
Yep.
and innings pitched over strikeouts, and I tend to lean to strikeouts. So if I was picking between the two, I would actually prefer Robbie Ray here. But this is a massive slate, and there are ways to get different. There's a guy a little bit cheaper that I really like, 2 guys actually that we'll talk about. I think you could pivot to a guy like Joe Ryan or Chris Bassett. They don't have as good of matchups, but both of them have been very good. They're just a little bit more expensive. So I'm just finding ways to get off the ownership because it's such a large slate and there's so many options to outscore these 2 guys.
Who are some of those your favorite pivots in this range?
Yeah, right below them, Brian Wu and Sonny Gray. I'm sorry, Clay Holmes. Brian Wu and Clay Holmes are the 2 guys that I'm looking at. Wu, you mentioned the roof should be closed there in Texas, so we don't have to worry about the weather there. Texas has not been a good offense. Like,
Nope.
I know there's some big names there. Corey Seager's on the IL now. Wu is a talented pitcher, not a huge strikeout guy, but he is a lot cheaper than when we're talking about a guy like Max Fried, where I need strikeouts. Wu can just simply go give me 6 strong innings, pick up a win possibly. So I think he has upside in that way. And then Clay Holmes is the other guy. The transition to starting has went exceptional. Strikeout rate is around 27%. And St. Louis has not been a good offense this season. So Holmes is a guy I really like for upside. I'm not scared of the Cardinals offense whatsoever. And 27% strikeouts at 8K looks pretty good.
I cannot believe he's a starting pitcher in baseball. I just have to get that off get that off my chest. And a good one at that. Under Holmes, I think the position dies off like Stephen Kwan's second half last year. Is there anything of note? And we'll get to Gunnar Hoglund in a second, because he's 4K, and that's just obviously the discussion that we have to have. Putting Hoglund to the side, what else intrigues you, if anything?
Yeah, it's a tough range to get to because of Hoagland, like you mentioned. There are some interesting names here, and I would have interest in these spots on a different slate. Um, Ben Brown is a guy that has massive strikeout potential for his price. He has pitched better than his top line results show this season.
Yep.
He has nasty stuff. The curveball is one of the best pitches in baseball. The walks have been an issue, and that's probably going to continue. Milwaukee, not an offense I'm afraid of. Like I said, on a different slate, I would have a ton of interest in this spot because we have a minimum price pitcher. I'm not going there today. You can put Jack Leiter in this same category. Awesome minor league strikeout numbers, good strikeout matchup today against Seattle. I will have more exposure to Jack Leiter than to Ben Brown in this spot. But both of those two guys, I think, have some upside if you want something in this price range.
Good luck getting past Jorge Polanco.
Yeah, dude, that dude has been just murdering baseballs. If he keeps that up, the lefty only is that what it is? He's focused just on a left-handed swing now. Has typically been better from the left side, but shout out to Jorge Polanco for reviving his career. It was a rough couple of seasons there for him. But Leiter's been good. I don't know that he can work super deep into the game is my biggest concern with him. Jose Soriano is a guy who could work deep into the game. Good ground ball guy. He doesn't generate as many strikeouts as you would think a guy with his stuff should. But he's cheap. So like dart throws at these guys are fine. If you're playing 20 to 50, 150 lineups, then you might have a sprinkle of these guys. But because of the presence of the minimum price pitcher in a good spot, I don't think I get to a ton of them.
How much is too much, Gunnar Hoagland? Because again, we've talked about this a couple times, and every situation is different. Like not every 4K pitcher slam dunk, gotta play him. But when they are like a prospect pitching well, coming up from the PCL pitching well, like that's obviously a notable thing because that is basically you're pitching in Coors Field day in, day out in the PCL. It feels silly to look at ownership and be like, I'm going to be underweight when he's 7% rostered, right? Like I approach that completely different. I will risk the low score to play a 4K pitcher because that means I can get Ohtani, I can get Judge, I can get whatever bat I want in whatever setting. What say you about the 4K pitcher in general and this 4K pitcher specifically today?
Yeah, so let's just talk about the pitcher first because Hoagland is he's a top 100 prospect. He's one of the A's very best prospects. This is a legitimate pitcher. His numbers in AAA are good. He's not a huge strikeout guy. He's been around 26% in AAA this season. But he also has a phenomenal matchup moving to a very pitcher-friendly park. So, like, the spot in general is great for a very talented arm. You do have the major league debut stuff that you have to deal with. Like, there's obviously going to be more pressure than he's ever faced in his life. Like he could come out there and just not be able to find the strike zone. We've seen that in MLB debuts plenty of times. So there is risk. It's a fantastic spot. I believe in the talent. So if we knew who this guy was and he had made 4 or 5 starts, he's probably 7K in this spot. So we're talking about a $3,000 discount. That is the difference from getting from a min-priced hitter to an absolutely elite hitter in your lineup. So it is a massive, massive difference. It's a situation that I'm just going to go way, way overweight on. Why do I need to waste ownership on guys with huge risk like Jack Leiter and Ben Brown? Even though I like them as pitchers, they're $3,000 more expensive. So for me, it's a slam dunk. Just play a ton of Hoagland. If he has a rough day, I probably am going to have a difficult time making a profit today. But it's risk that I'm willing to take on because we do have so many good offenses. It allows me to get to the elite stacks that I want to get to.
Dude, if he gets you, I'm not saying you
12.
want you. Yeah. I'm not saying you want 10 to 12 fantasy points from your pitcher, but that is more than serviceable when it's $4,000. Like we're not asking for him to stack up with Yamamoto, Fried, and Tarek Skubal tonight. Like that's not what we're doing. It doesn't hurt if he smokes and has a no-hitter like Cameron the other day through 7 innings or whatever he had a no-hitter through. But it's a 4K pitcher that allows you to get bats. There's a couple teams with 5.5 implied run totals or higher tonight with 2 of the best players in the game. So You're going to want to get there. I completely agree. Way overweight on the field. We don't need to talk anything else to pitcher, so let's head over to catcher. I actually think that this position is as deep as it's been all year, from top to bottom today. Cal Raleigh at 4,900 continues to just smoke baseballs. Logan O'Hoppe, I know it's a terrible spot. He just hits home runs seemingly every day that ends in day. Langoliers, home run threat. Augustin Ramirez looks like a legit dude. And as much as we like Victor Hoglund, he's making his major league debut. And Augustin Ramirez has been smoking baseballs. Dingler homered last night. Will Smith. There's a lot to like above 4K at catcher.
Yeah, you didn't even mention the highest price guy, Mr. Carson Kelly.
I was setting you up. I was setting you up. You know?
No, I'm kidding. I don't buy into what Carson Kelly is doing for 1 second. But if he qualified, he would be the best hitter in baseball. It is absolutely insane what this dude is doing.
Babe Ruth. He'd be Babe Ruth.
Yeah. He literally has a better WRC plus than Aaron Judge, and Aaron Judge has been absolutely crushing the baseball. It is insane what Carson Kelly has done. That being said, he's way too expensive. I won't even play him tonight, even as the Cubs fan that I am. He's not going to continue this. He's not that level of hitter. Cal Raleigh is incredible. Big time power, middle of the lineup spot. Absolutely love him. Sean Murphy has been crushing baseball. I know it's Yamamoto, so it's a really tough spot for him today. But just wanted to shout out what Sean Murphy has been doing.
Yep.
Langolier is the other guy that looks really good. Low strikeout pitcher. Another guy with big time power and a mid lineup spot. So Langoliers and Raleigh are my two favorites. I like Ramirez as well. Big prospect, like you said, has shown that it's going to translate to the bigs a little bit. So Hoglund, I probably don't play him in lineups that I'm using Hoglund, and I might have Hoglund upwards of 40%. But I totally think he's fine. Hunter Goodman against Robbie. Go ahead.
I'm a Will Smith guy today, hitting fifth. This guy's been, other than last year, he's been arguably the best hitting catcher in baseball for the last 5 years. Or, there's probably debate with like Salvi and a couple other guys, but he's in the mix as the best hitting catcher over the past. And he, again, hitting fifth, $4,000. Grant Holmes specifically struggles with righties this year, like really badly against right-handed bats. So I'd throw Will Smith into the mix as well.
Yeah, I like that shout out a good amount. I'm high on the Dodgers today, so I will have plenty of him as well. Hunter Goodman is the next guy I want to talk about. Like Robbie Ray, we just talked about his catching ownership. You want to talk about leverage, you can get it by not only fading Robbie Ray, but then playing hitters against them. The Rockies don't have many to choose from, but Goodman is one of my favorites.
They do not. That is for sure. But he is, like you said, a catcher with power. There's not many of them in the game. When we dip below, I feel like it's pretty simple, and it's Alejandro Kirk at $2,800 in the 5-hole. Is there anything else for you? Freddie Fermin at 2,400 against Kramer, I think looks pretty good. Anything like value at catcher?
Those are the two names I would look at as well. Kirk hasn't been fantastic, but he gets a platoon advantage. Logan Allen has been pretty shaky to start his career. And then Fermin gets that awesome Baltimore weather against Kramer, who's had a lot of struggles today. So those are the two names I would look at as well. Stallings, if you want a cheap option against Robbie Ray, I mean, you're just hoping to get lucky and he runs into one. He's not a good hitter by any means. But if you're punting the position, I don't hate that.
Logan Allen went wrong, by the way, when he dropped the T. When he was a rookie, he came up Logan T. Allen, and then he dropped the T, and he hasn't been the same since. So maybe something to look into. It's like Nathaniel Lowe randomly going to Nathaniel. He was Nate for how long, and then he went to Nathaniel. Like, he hasn't been the same player since. Some decisions these players make are mind-blowing, and obviously they should be looking into things like that. Let's go to first. Where hopefully Shohei doesn't add a random middle initial and just start not being able to hit, but he's for some reason first base eligible still. Freddie Freeman, $5,900, the actual first baseman. Michael Busch, $51. They're using the opener now, and Quinn Priester is the long man. I don't think that necessarily matters, but it is obviously worth mentioning for at least an at bat for the Cubs. Will face a lefty in Alexander. Rice is 5K. Vladdy at 49. Olson. I mean, the top of first is loaded. Talk about some of your favorites here, Keith.
Yeah, Ohtani is definitely far and away the favorite, as he is on pretty much any slate that he's on in any matchup. But happens to get good weather in Atlanta today, so I like Atlanta, good hitting weather. Freeman is a fine prize right below him. Same spot, obviously, for him. He's been really good this year. Pete Alonso's been absolutely incredible. Sonny Gray, I think, is an above-average pitcher still, but Pete can always go for 2 home runs. Ben Rice, I like the spot for him against Pepio, who has had his struggles. Vlad has been hitting the ball really hard this season. Nice to see that. So got his big money, but he continues to hit. So expecting big things from Vlad. Olson, you mentioned, has the matchup against Yamamoto. That's tough, but he's Matt Olson. Soderstrom, I like in this spot a ton because of the low strikeout matchup. Has cooled off a little bit since his scorching hot start, but still big time power. Still finding a way into his lineup, even as the A's called up Kurtz. So love Soderstrom a good amount. Let's see here. Torkelson is a guy you can certainly play. Nice ballpark upgrade for the Detroit Bats you mentioned. Yes. Just a hitter-friendly park in Los Angeles compared to their very pitcher-friendly home park. So that's a nice boost for Torkelson.
Of the top guys, obviously the Dodgers, I think they're my top stack, and it sounds like you're probably right there with me. I mean, again, almost 6 implied runs. Like Grant Holmes not only looks like Danny McBride, but he pitches like Danny McBride. I love Vladdy. Logan Allen without the T. 0.09 ISO to righties, 223 expected ISO allowed. 288 WOBA, 331 expected WOBA, just an 18% strikeout rate. Anytime you can't strike Vladdy out and you are just getting lucky, that's scary. Vladdy, we've said it like all year. All of his expected numbers are like best in baseball. And now he's homered in 3 of his last 5 games. And you're like, oh, right. That luck is going to turn and he's going to be $6,000. So
it's almost like all that underlying stuff matters, and that's where we can find our edge. It's incredible stuff.
Yeah, and dude, $4,900 is $1,000 too cheap in about 2 weeks. Give it 2 weeks of Vladdy's like just scorching baseballs, and he'll be $6,000 before I know it. So I really like Toronto. They're actually a top 10 offense against lefties this year. They are not against righties, but we don't have to worry about that. They're lefties today. They're facing a lefty today. So that would be my personal favorite in the Dodgers, and I like your Torque and Soderstrom calls as well. Below 4K, we had talked about it last night about the Royals. I was not necessarily expecting them to be this popular today, Keith. Oh, they are popular, and they're better. They obviously have been better the last like week or so. They're improving. The names and the results do not match, right? Like they are better than what they have shown. Obviously, no Salvi tonight, but Pasquantino looks like he's coming alive. Him and Ohtani are the only 2 first base eligible players in double-digit ownership. It looks good at 3,100 in that weather in that ballpark, right?
Yeah, it definitely does. It's a big enough slate where 10% ownership, I'm not going to get too beat up about. Like I could see Ohtani getting closer to 20%. I'm pretty confident Pasquantino is going to be coming in right. Like if he gets the double digit, it'll be right at 10. And that I'm not too concerned about 10%. 20% is a little different conversation. So I agree with you. I wish they weren't as popular, but it's a great spot. So I certainly understand it. I like Pasquantino a ton. I think he's too cheap. The Royals have been underperforming all season. We expect that to turn around, and it looks like it might be starting.
Anything else of note sub 4K at first base?
Let's see here if I got anybody else. Not particularly anyone I'm excited about. Tellez has been decent for the Mariners. Leiter's, I think, a good pitcher, but lefties can certainly get to him, so don't mind some shots there at a guy with power. That's really all I got. Mountcastle is cheap enough where you can take some shots there too. Yeah, that's it.
I'll just throw Christian Walker. He's been a little better from the power department. Jonathan Cannon is whatever as a pitcher.
Yep, I like
That's all I
that.
got. I don't have much else to add. Let's go to second because I do think it's just like if you're playing a value first baseman, Pasquantino is your option, or just spend up because there's so many elite names there. It's like one of those. It's a big time opportunity cost position when the Dodgers. Anytime the Dodgers are on the slate because you have two of them. You have two of them right there to play. Second base, Alex Bregman has not played second base all year. Still second base eligible. Bryce Terang, 51. Ozzy Albies, 5,000. Jose Altuve, 48 to the two-hitter. Jose Altuve. Big game for Glaber last night. I know he got pinch ran for. I don't know if the Tigers lineup has come out yet. Nope. I don't see a Tigers lineup. So that's probably because we don't know the status of Glaber, but he has been hitting really well. Brendan Donovan, Jimenez stinks. Surprise, surprise. Nico Horner, 41. Otto Lopez, 4K. What do you like above 4K, if anything?
Yeah, not a lot to like. I think second is a position you can kind of punt today. If I was going in the higher end, Altuve is probably the guy against Cannon. Cannon's not a great pitcher. Yeah. Think that you can certainly look at some Altuve. He's really the only guy. I mean, Terang, I have a hard time paying that price. I know he can get there in different ways. He has a ton of speed. Cubs catchers have been awesome, and that includes their defense as well. So like I'm just like Ben Brown has had his struggles, but I believe in the pitcher that Ben Brown is. So Terang just feels a bit overpriced for me to target in this spot. Yeah, Jimenez has not done enough. Billy Donovan is fine, but not super excited about him.
Billy Donovan, shout out Bulls head coach Brendan Donovan.
Yeah, right.
Shout out.
Yeah, I was gonna say you showed me the Bulls shirt pre-show. It must have been on my mind.
Bulls in 5. next year, Bulls in 5 when they make it out of the play-in. Yeah, this is a position you save at, and Michael Garcia's at the top of everyone's list, right? $3,700 second, third base eligible. Has been really good. We're waiting for this version of Michael Garcia to show up last year. The speed guy was always there, but like if he's going to hit anywhere near 300, he's going to steal like 50 plus bags, right? It's Garcia is the top value, I would say, of the position.
Yeah, we like Royals. He's hitting in the 4-hole today, which is really nice. Yeah, I don't have anything bad to say about him. Kramer's been awful. The weather is great. Garcia looks good. I think you can go cheaper if you want to. Michael Massey is in that same lineup hitting 5th. And
he's been so bad.
I know, but these things turn around. Like Massey had some success last year. I think he's going to get back to doing it. But yeah, it's been a rough go, but that's why he's almost minimum price.
I was looking at some of the expected stuff because John was trying to sell me on the dream last night. And I agree. He has been good against righties in the past. He's been like a near 200 ISO hitter over the last couple of years against righties. Nothing expected to like the numbers. Like usually you could point to those guys and be like, all right, he's just getting unlucky. Like when you looked at Salvi's numbers a lot earlier this year, you're like, that's literally been the most unlucky player in baseball. His expected average is like 300. He's hitting 190, 500 expected slug. He had like a 300 slug. Massey's is like scraping the Mendoza line, barely at like 300 slug. I get it. And in my mind, but I'm just looking at the numbers and saying this player doesn't look like last year's player or the year prior. But I agree. Kramer's been terrible. It's a great hitting environment. And like, he's 2,400 hitting 5th in the best hitting environment of the night. So like, I get it. How about this? You could play either. Salary doesn't matter here, and positional eligibility doesn't matter because I know you could play Garcia. If salary doesn't matter, do you still lean Massey over Garcia or?
No, I'd go Garcia before Massey
but it's the salary that just is so appealing. Salary and lineup and all that.
Yeah, and that I mean, unless you're going up for Skubal and Yamamoto, which you probably are, but if you're playing Hoagland, I think that you could fit a 3K second baseman in there pretty easily.
Anything else worth talking about. Semion's super cheap, but you like Brian Wu. Colt Keith. I mean, he's just been like so subpar his whole stint in the majors. Like, is there anything else you would play?
Brendan Rodgers, another guy who's been bad, but I like his matchup against Cannon. Meadroth is leading off. Framber's a really talented pitcher, but that's a punt second baseman who's going to get 4 at-bats today. So I don't hate it. Not excited about it. Urias is fine as well against a low strikeout pitcher for Miami. So I don't mind all of these options. Like if you're playing a bunch of lineups, you play the guy in your stack a lot of the times at second base and just hope that he gets on base and scores a couple of runs, and then you don't need him to hit a home run. So yeah, that's kind of how I'm playing second base. It's a position where I don't have to sacrifice much at the top by going down to this 2 and 3K range.
All right, let's go to Jorge Polanco's position, third base. What do we like here? There are some obvious big names, some not in the best spots, but like sometimes that doesn't matter. Talent just trumps everything else. What do you like at the top of third today, Keith?
Yeah, tough matchups for a lot of these guys, like you mentioned. Yep. Like Chris Bassett is a really good pitcher. That doesn't mean you can't play Jose Ramirez. Bassett has kind of fixed his lefty power problem from a couple seasons ago as well, so that's another ding for Jose Ramirez. Bregman gets Joe Ryan, who's a really good pitcher as well. Like Riley gets Yamamoto. Like it's all the top guys are facing good pitchers until we get to Polanco here. Rafael Devers as a lefty against Ryan is probably my favorite if I was picking from one of the top 4. But I do prefer Polanco and even Matt Chapman just because Sensatella is not going to strike anyone out. Chapman has big power. So I like Matt Chapman a ton tonight.
Oh, Sensatella is so bad, dude.
How does he still have a job? I mean, I guess they paid him, so they just might as well get the innings out of him. But man, yeah, not really a big league pitcher.
Isn't that the exact, like, that's the Patrick Corbin thing too? He made it so long, but because he had so much money on his contract that they were just like, I guess we just got to keep throwing him out there. And then, but shout out to Patrick Corbin. I guess he's been good. Maybe Antonio Sensatella will figure it out on a different team. I agree on your Chapman call. Caminero can always hit a lefty 1,000 miles because he has crazy power. Garcia's here. I love Connor Norby. Strikes out too much, but I love Connor Norby. There's a couple of intriguing things to me down here, Keith, and I want to get your take. Max Muncy finally hit his first home run the other day. He's 33. That's like the cheapest piece of a Dodger stack you can get to in the middle of their lineup. He's 33, hitting 6th. Jonathan India leading off has been very unlucky this year. When you look at a lot of the expected and the peripheral stats, back in the leadoff hole has been better of late. Obviously, hitting in front of Bobby Witt is very good. Brooks Lee hitting 3rd tonight. Former top Minnesota prospect, top 100 prospect last year. Another guy who was running really bad and then kind of turned things around. I want to get your take on those 3 players specifically. Any takes on any of them?
Yeah, Muncy is a guy like I don't mind playing. Like he's different than the Massey case because he's getting up there in age. So like you see a guy like that fall off, and that's concerning to me.
Yes.
When we're talking about a young guy like Massey, I'm not as concerned. But maybe Muncy just doesn't have it anymore. You lose a couple ticks of bat speed is all it takes when you get up into the mid-30s. So, but that being said, I love the spot for the Dodgers today, so I'm still playing Max Muncy. India is in that Baltimore spot that we absolutely love. So I'm fine with that. You can play him in the outfield too if you want to play Massey and Garcia, who we've talked about. So I don't mind that hitting at the top of the order. He's cheap. Brooks Lee was the other one you mentioned. I'm into Brooks Lee for sure. Bayo definitely has his struggles against lefties. So like he historically over the last couple of seasons, he has a much better strikeout rate to righties. So I definitely like me some Brooks Lee there. It has been pretty decent for the Twins here. Like you said, a former top prospect. So I do like Brooks Lee.
Isn't it crazy? Brian Bayo has already thrown 154 pitches to lefties. He's only made 2 starts.
Yeah, I was going to say.
It's a lot of. That means he was just facing like his last two opponents knew the assignment, right? Like it's like get lefties against Bayo, because already this year, again, 150 pitches is not a big sample, but 310 ISO, 278 expected ISO versus Bayo. To your point, last year 177 ISO for lefties, 2023 209 ISO against lefties. Like it tracks. It's lefty power has given Brian Bayo issues, and for someone who's a ground ball pitcher, that's a concern, right? When one split, you're not getting ground balls against that side of the plate because you're giving up home runs. So 3,100 for Brooks Lee hitting third today is very interesting. Anything below the Brooks Lee, I will note Ramon Urias was scratched today, so he is not in the Baltimore lineup anymore.
Okay. There's nothing really. I think there's those three options we just talked about are really strong, and you're reaching a little bit by going down further. Barger is the name I would throw out there as the guy if you wanted to get into that 2K range. Just because he grabbed the 6th spot for Toronto today.
Literally the only other thing I have too. Let's go to short where there's really good baseball players. And we address them by first name, although that's completely unprofessional because we don't know any of them. Bobby, Mookie, Frankie, Gunnar. Play them in your stacks, right? I mean, there's
absolutely
no wrong answer there. I mean, it's
no wrong answer. Witt might be my favorite hitter on the entire slate. Mookie is right behind him. So yeah, it's loaded at shortstop as it always is.
Yeah, it's tough for me because I love the righties against Grant Holmes. So I want to play Mookie because he's actually showing signs of life. But I also really want to play Bobby Witt because he has a 23-game hit streak and he's Bobby Witt. So like it's tough. And as you know, I'm a single entry player. So like
got to make that decision.
It's
not a fun one. Not a fun one.
I've made it. I'm just not. Right. I'm not happy with it. I'm playing with as John skips the show and also watching. I know them all personally. Good for you, John. You're so cool, dude. Yeah, I mean, yeah, cool, dude. Cool. Well, you know what? I know Dwayne Darville, and Dwayne Darville says, "Let's go." And I think he said that when I flashed the Bulls and we were talking Billy Donovan. I think Dwayne. I'm just saying. I think I saw that comment come in when we were talking Bulls. So shout out to you, Dwayne, if you're also a Bulls fan. Richard said he missed Grande time. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Did you go somewhere?
You've
been here.
Well, that's true. Tuesday, Thursdays.
Too many hours in between appearances? Is that?
Yeah, I guess so. I guess so. That's true. I guess that's fair point. But I appreciate it, Richard. Potijen likes Garcia for Casey. We like Garcia and Jacob Wilson leading off. So let's go right there. We'll just go. I think like there's some interesting names in between Jacob Wilson. Zach Nato's great against lefties. Bo Bichette, 41, can't hit home runs. It's crazy. Please hit a home run, Bo. I'm asking you, please. Jacob Wilson leading off. Any thoughts here? 4K against Valente Belozo?
Our guy John has been clamoring for it all season long. He pops into the chat and bam, he gets it done. So love to see that elite contact hitter. We've talked about Jacob Wilson a ton this year. So love to see him get the lineup bump. The chances of Beozo striking him out today are like 0.00001.
What are the odds? What is the Jacob Wilson legit? John, if you're in the chat, please let us know what the strikeout odds for Jacob Wilson. I'll bet the over. He's gonna strike. Belozo's striking him out tonight.
Oh man, that is a hot take. You have one of the best contact hitters in baseball against what is Belozo's strikeout rate this year? It's
it has to be 10.
14%.
Yeah, and I was gonna say I was gonna go under. I was gonna take the under.
Let me see. I'm looking it up now.
Okay.
Let's see here. Wow, 17%. Got a nice bump from.
Oh, we're getting. I might bet 2+. I might bet 2+. 2+ strikeouts for Belozo tonight. Let's go. Can the man popping in the chat saying go Yankees? Totally agree. I don't know if you saw my tweet, but my son Keith is 5, and he's gotten into the Yankees big time like this year. Last year, the World Series run sparked it, but he asked me if the game was on. I said, no, not tonight. So he said, can I rewatch Blue Jays Red Sox from last night? Because I want to see the Red Sox lose again.
Oh man. Targeting the rivals, even.
Dude.
That's awesome.
It was amazing. Oh, what an ask. I hope John's listening to that too, because it was great. Anything below Jacob Wilson we want to talk about? I think this is a pretty good value. There's a lot of like really good players in like really good lineup positions below 4K at short. We know Willy Adames is going to hit second. He's been a notoriously reverse splits guy. Josh Smith leading off has been awesome this year. Mason Wynn, a little question if he was going to still hit second against the righty. He is. JP Crawford leading off has been really good. Any of those guys pique your interest at all?
Yeah, Adames for sure does.
Yep.
Sense of just another guy, can't strike anyone out. Adames has power. It's been a struggle for Adames, so I understand why he's cheap, but he's got a long track record of being a much better hitter than this. I expect him to turn it around eventually. Crawford's been awesome as well. So I like Leiter as a pitcher, but $3,100 shortstop hitting leadoff, I'm into that for sure.
Yeah, Adames is your ownership leader by a pretty wide margin too. So
we'll might change up a little bit now with Wilson getting the bump to the leadoff spot. Maybe that takes away from the ownership a little bit.
That's true. Bobby Witt, Gunnar Henderson, or Bobby, Mookie, Gunnar, Frankie, all pretty low owned. Just throwing that out there. So some good ownership on the top dogs here at short. Let's head to the outfield, finish this thing off with the lineup build. Appreciate everyone stopping in, all 300 of you. Please, if you would be so kind, if you don't already, hit the subscribe button on the Fantasy Alarm YouTube channel. It goes a long way to build up this platform because we do come live every Monday through Friday. If there's a slate, obviously yesterday there was only a 4-gamer. We, couldn't make it work, but Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. Eastern, and we do the pre-show every night. Please, support the channel. Hit the like button if you'd be so kind. Let's talk outfield. Another just position where I look at the 5K and up tier and I'm like, probably wouldn't say don't play any of these guys. I don't know if there's a single name that I'd be like, can't play that guy. Nope, definitely can't. No, I think you could probably play all of them. I think the one thing that probably stands out the most is like Cedric Mullins is mispriced. And there's no reason he should be 5,600, but it's 90 degrees with wind blowing out. Like if you want to play him, you could probably play him. Is there anything that stands out to you more than the rest of the group above 5K, Keith? Other than Aaron Judge might hit 400 this year.
That Aaron Judge guy is pretty good is exactly what I was going to say. Just named AL Player of the Month. Congrats to him. He was already in the conversation for the best hitter on the planet, and he just looks like he is taking it to another level this season, which is really saying something. So yeah, Aaron Judge, play that guy. The rest of the range is loaded too. Nobody's playing Cubs today, and I get it. I mean, they're expensive, so it's fine. They're doing the weird opener thing as well.
Yeah, it's weird with a lefty.
Tucker, and Tucker doesn't care about splits. No, what I was going to say.
Does not.
One of the best lefty hitters in the game. So, like, I can certainly get to some Kyle Tucker. His teammate Suzuki is down there as well, who's been on a tear this season. Like, the Cubs have been like right behind the Yankees for the best offense in baseball this season. So, I'm going to have some Cubs today. Duran probably has the toughest matchup in this spot, but Joe Ryan has been susceptible to lefty power at times in his career as well. So I don't even mind him. We love Dodgers, so certainly Teoscar is in play. Churio, I fully believe in this dude.
Yes.
One of my favorite young hitters in all of baseball, so certainly can play him. Brown struggles with the walks. If he walks him, he can certainly steal a base. So plenty of upside there for Churio. Rooker, big time power against a low strikeout pitcher. Like, love that spot. It's hard to say anything bad about any of the 5K guys.
As of 2 weeks ago, I don't know. I recycle this comment, and I'm going to keep recycling it to everyone I can talk to. As of 2 weeks ago, Jackson Churio would have been the youngest player in the PCL.
That's insane.
He is.
Wait. He's younger than Ballesteros, who's the Cubs hitter who's hitting prospect who's hitting
That was
everything.
as of 2 weeks ago. He was. I don't know
That,
if that
regardless,
has.
that's still, the guy's what, 21. Like
So,
it's insane.
I'm just saying that was a stat that came across my timeline, and I was like, wait, he played a full season in Major League Baseball last year. It wasn't like he would. Now we're on year 2, and he's still would be the youngest. Okay. Can the man in here? My call of the slate is Teoscar Hernandez takes. I was about to call him Clay Holmes. Takes Danny McBride deep. Just for context, Danny McBride this year against righties, 340 ISO allowed that's a home run waiting to happen in 80-degree weather in Atlanta. I mean, Dodgers have 5.6 implied runs. Teoscar hits everybody, steals bases now. He's the new Ohtani. He's gonna go 50-50 this year. I love Teoscar. If anyone else has a home run call, throw them in the chat. We'd appreciate and entertain anything, but like don't say like Bo Bichette because he's not gonna hit a home run. Let's go below 5K. Even though Juan Soto, another guy who's just $1,000 too cheap, and I just want to acknowledge that because he's going to be $6,000 before you know it, and no one's going to remember that like he was Juan Soto and just like was walking and taking his base and doing normal Juan Soto things and like.
Can I enter Yordan Alvarez into that conversation as well? Who gets Jonathan Cannon today?
Yep, it's a great call. It's a great call. Yep, it's a great call. Yeah, I mean, he's a very good player who's had a very unlucky start to his year.
Yep.
Good lineup, great matchup. Bad, and like some of these matchups, there's good bullpens to follow. Like that doesn't exist for the White Sox either. So even if Cannon pitches well, it's gone. He's going to get a good matchup following. So love Yordan as well. Jung-Hoo Lee fits perfectly into your San Francisco stacks. He is freaking awesome as a hitter. Randy Arozarena looks really good right now. Soderstrom you can play in the outfield. PCA and the power is unbelievable. Something I don't think even you as Cubs fans could have imagined to this point in the year. Could we see a Springer dinger tonight? I think so. Luis Robert doesn't matter who's pitching. He is running. Doesn't care if he's getting thrown out because he's not. He has 13 stolen bases now in the year. Other than those guys, who are some of the 4K guys, or if you want to harp on anyone that I mentioned too?
I mean, PCA has been just incredible. We knew the speed and the defense was going to be there, but you're correct. Like the power is just going to take him to among the best players in baseball. Like he's already the best center fielder defensively in the game. He is one of the fastest guys in baseball. If he's going to hit home runs too, like he might end up being 5,500 by the time the season's over if he keeps up the power. So love that call. It should only be one at bat against the lefty, so don't worry about that. Quinn Priester's coming in after him, and he should have just a glorious time against Quinn Priester. Let's see here. Anyone else I like? Hap, I like a ton as well. He's 4,200. Should hit at the top of the lineup. So he's one of the Cubs that's actually maybe underpriced, where everyone else feels like they're just a couple $200, $300 overpriced.
Yep.
Love the Springer call out. Another guy. We've played him against lefty his entire career. Teammate Santander is starting to pick it up a little bit. I like him a ton.
I love. If I'm gonna give you a home run call tonight, this is my home run call. Anthony Santander. Nice. That's my home run call. And I saw we just had a Vladdy. The way that I have currently constructed my lineup, I have a 2-stack of Vladdy Santander hitting behind each other in the lineup. We know this is the power side. I mean, he had monster. I mean, he had 44 home runs last year. It's not like there was any not power side. I mean, 44 home runs is 44 home runs. Like he was a machine. But we're starting to see some Blue Jays starting to figure it out, except Bo Bichette, but it's starting to figure it out from the power department. So I love Santander here at 4K.
Yeah, totally with you. Those Blue Jays power bats look really, really good.
Okay. Heliot Ramos 4K, Riley Green 4K, and then we dip our toes into sub 4K land, where again, There's a lot of interesting names. Trevor Larnach leading off tonight, $3,900. Looks good from a power standpoint against Bayo. Trent Grisham, best power hitter in baseball. Yes, he's number one. Aaron Judge is number two. Carson Kelly's number three. He's leading off once again. Kerry Bonds probably leads off with a righty on the mound. What do we like sub 4K? Because there is a lot to like here.
Yeah, there is. Grisham, like you mentioned, leading off tonight against Pepio, who has problems with lefty power. Like that looks really good. Larnach is a better hitter. Bayo also has that massive lefty split as well. So
Yep.
I like both of those cheap guys leading off a ton. I'll throw Kerry Carpenter in there as well. Soriano has the ground ball ability, but we talked about the park upgrade for the Tigers. So Kerry Carpenter, a guy that I love at the top of the order. Yeah, like those three are the ones that stand out to me. Simpson gets freed, but I love that speed. He's in the leadoff spot as well as another cheap guy. Let's see here.
Can we talk Andy Pages? Do you want to
Yeah,
talk Andy
let's
Pages?
do that. Another Dodger. You bet.
If I did this, right? And I said, Keith, what Dodger am I showing you right now? What's your answer?
Yeah.
What's your answer?
Mean, I think you'd lean Betts or Ohtani.
Like, you're going. You're not saying Andy Pages, right?
No way.
That's not Andy Pages. And yet, when I just scroll up, there he is, the man of the hour. $3,500. He has been unbelievable. Fits your Dodger stacks pretty good. Hitting 7th, better than when he used to hit 9th. Maybe not. Because if you're playing Ohtani, you get the wraparound aspect there. But he's hitting 7th. He's a way to get the Dodgers, right? Like he fits your 5-man. He fits your 4-man. He fits however many Dodgers you want to play. Andy Pages is that guy.
Yeah, completely agree.
Anything below Pages that is really standing out to you?
Heston Kierstad in that Baltimore weather, I like a good amount.
Yep.
Walker's fine, not scary. So yep. I'm certainly fine there. No, that's about all I have.
Where's my boy? What about Drew Waters in a Kansas City stack?
Yeah, I'm fine with him in a stack. Has started to pick it up a little bit. Looked like he was going to kind of flame out there for a while, but getting an opportunity now.
Former top prospect, another like highly touted guy. Finally figured it out, possibly. I don't really have anything else. Like Big Christmas is in the lineup. Hit a 450-foot home run the other day. Yesterday? 450-foot home run yesterday. It was like the longest home run I've ever seen him with my 2 eyes. I have 4 of them, actually, 4 eyes. Jock hitting 3rd. Barger, we talked about.
I was going to shout out Jock. If he hadn't been one of the worst hitters in baseball up until this point, like Brian Wu is another one of those pitchers who just has massive splits when you compare righties and lefties. So if Jock was going right, I would love this spot for him. You can still take a shot on him.
I would rank him in my all-time Jock ranking 2nd behind Young Jock, but that's for another discussion. Let's get a lineup built here, Keith. For the folks at home, no, we will not be including Jock or Young Jock into our lineup. How do you want to do this? I'm assuming we are just going to do this, and I'll just go SP1, Gunnar Hoglund. That's where we're starting. You seemed more Team Yamamoto, and as a getting to work with you, I understand that because you are more GPP oriented than anything, and you are always looking for leverage here. If we're building a tournament lineup, do you lean Yamamoto to Skubal? Like I know you said Skubal, but also I handicapped you by saying like we're building cash and single entry stuff earlier.
Yeah, it's so hard to separate them because either one could go for 30 plus tonight, and then that's what you're looking for. So yes. It's hard to separate them for me. So ownership is really the deciding thing as far as who I'm going to have more exposure to, and Skubal is going to be pretty significantly more owned. It's not that I love the spot that much more for Yamamoto. In fact, I think the matchup is a little bit worse for Yamamoto with the Braves kind of turning it around. That being said, I think the ownership gap is probably wider than it should be. So
yes,
if I was playing one lineup and I needed some leverage, I'd go Yamamoto.
that's what we're gonna do here because I am personally playing Tarek Skubal tonight in my single entry stuff, but we're building a tournament lineup and we're looking. This is for the folks at home as an example of how to win a tournament, right? What's our top stack? Are we just all in on Dodgers? That's just like it's Dodgers, right?
Yes, I think Dodgers and Royals, as cheap as they are the two that we probably want exposure to.
Okay.
Like it's going to be really hard if we play Ohtani. We probably can't get Judge, so that's a conversation that needs to be had. But I mean, Ohtani is amazing, right?
Are you sure?
His is way too cheap. What's that?
Are you sure we could have won off Judge? I think it's possible because the Royals, it really comes down to how cheap
you might have
the Royals.
You might have to click Michael Massey though. Are you willing to do that?
I'll do it for you, Keith, because I know that's what you want. I know we're itching to play Michael Massey, so I'll do it for you. Like I'm telling you right now, we could do this, and it's literally.
Well, yeah, that's why I said Ohtani. I assumed that it was either going to be Witt or Betts at short, so that's why I said Judge. But it looks like we can actually make this work, which is insane. This is why you play a 4K pitchers right there. There's your case.
You literally have arguably the three best. These were the three best hitters in baseball last year. These were the three best players, bar none. Not even a discussion. Right there, right? And arguably right back at that again this year, where Witt's on a 22-game hitting streak. Ohtani hasn't gotten out since he became a dad, and Aaron Judge is going to hit 400 and have a better year than his 250 home runs and 160 home run season. Like it's just,
yeah, it's a fun day to build lineups.
So I'm rethinking everything that I'm doing with my lineup. And like, I don't like Michael Massey, but if I have to play a $2,400 Michael Massey to get me 6 home run potential between Witt, Ohtani, and Judge, I'll freaking do it. You don't dare me. Don't tempt me with a good time. Shout out to everyone out there for watching. Salute to DFA Nation. Happy Friday. Big salute to Keith for coming out of the bullpen and giving us 6 strong after John only limped out after 2/3 of an inning. He stunk today. Couldn't get that guy off the mound quick enough. But you shut it down, Keith, and we closed it out with a victory. Everyone have a great weekend. Be safe out there. Win some money with the family. Become a subscriber. You can hit that 7-day free trial QR code up in the top left corner to become a member of the family today. For Keith,